Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and welcome to the Sunday Chat. This is a chance where I can catch up with you and let you know what's been going on if you've missed one of the videos and what we've got coming up forward. And there's lots of exciting things to look forward to, but first of all, let's go back and have a look at what we've been doing this week. The week started off meeting up with the one and only Mark English. And we did some dowsing. Well, I say we did the dowsing. Mark was showing me how dowsing works. Now, it's one of those strange things that it seems that even if you're skeptical, it just happens. He had some special dowsing rods which he'd bought some time ago, I think from Avebury, and he was demonstrating how these rods would find energy lines. And it was absolutely amazing, and it was curious to watch the comments after the video of a number of people who said that they had tried it, those that were skeptical and also had tried it and found that it worked. So, you know, it's one of those things. It may be that I'll have to go and do some dowsing videos myself and see if I can find all sorts of things. People are finding lost rings and water, but in this case, Mark was looking for energy lines. And Mark is actually going to do a series of videos about dowsing on his channel. So I'd certainly recommend going and checking out his channel. I'll put the link in the description so you can look at those. Mark and I also, having made that video, we went for a little jaunt along the North Downs Way. The North Downs Way, a bit like the South Downs Way, is a long distance path. Mark has actually done the whole thing. It took him a while. He did it in stages with a friend of his. And a bit like me doing the South Downs Way, I'm doing mine in little stages. But it would be good to do a bit more through the Surrey Hills, who do like that. And of course, I'm doing a bit of the Greensand Way with Matthew Holdsworth, which I'm sure you've seen in other videos. But we had a nice little jaunt around the Denby vineyard, which was quite nice, through some marvellous trees. Well worth catching up on that one. Staying in Surrey, we went to, the lovely Julia and I a few weeks ago, went to Udigate, a lovely village with this beautiful church with a wooden tower. And when we were there, we made the video and had a look round, but we did it a bit on spec, and we did say, well, if there's anybody out there who knows the area and would care to give us a bit more information, that would be fantastic. And as these things happen, we were very lucky because local historian John Coolcutt got in touch and said, I can show you some fascinating things if you're interested. And of course, we said, yeah, we most definitely are interested. Met up with John not a few days ago, really, and he told us the amazing and curious story of Mrs. Jensen and her carving boys. This was at the turn of the century, 1906, 1904, something like that. And Mrs. Jensen, who was a very important figure in Udigate, was a bit disappointed seeing a lot of the boys, of 14-year-old lads, just with nothing to do. And she thought, I'll get them wood carving. She was very, very keen on wood carving. So she got them to do a lot of carving and improved their skills, got that local head teacher to help them. And it was an amazing story, but there is a sad element to this because, unfortunately, the Second World War came along and they were prime age, really, and they went off to fight. Well, there was 30 of them that she was teaching and 20 of them returned, but that meant about 10 didn't come back. And some of the pieces that they carved are in the church, and you can go to the church and actually see a list of the boys and find out which ones didn't come back and which pieces are still there. So it's a very poignant story over 100 years ago. But that was absolutely fantastic. But John also then took me down to the ironworks, just sort of towards the end of the Tudor period. There in Udigate, for about 50 years, was an amazing hive of industry of ironwork production. And he took me to this rural idyll, and we were standing there at the end of this muddy lane and looking, and I said, well, this is almost unbelievable. And he said, yes, it's hard to believe that up until about 1610 there was this huge iron industry that went down. And he took me to show me where the blast furnace was and all the workings. And he said it's interesting because now when you see the timber framed houses that are in the area, he said they all pretty much come from the end of the iron industry, and so you can date them around about 1610, which is quite fascinating. So thank you to John for that little insight, and we do love it when local people, particularly with people with a little bit of knowledge, can take us round and show us a little bit more. So if you haven't caught up with those videos, then do it, because they're definitely worth having a look. In the week, I met up with Julian Humphreys. Now, he works for the Battlefield Trust, looking at the battlefields of England, Wales and Scotland. And we went to Chariton, which is a Hampshire village. Now, in the fields nearby, there in the English Civil War, was the Battle of Chariton between the Roundheads and the Cavaliers. And a tremendous early battle of the English Civil War took place there. Julian took me round. Now, the video has yet to be edited. I'll be doing that over this weekend, and it will go out, I think, on Monday. So if you're watching this pretty much when this video goes out, check it out. If you haven't seen it, it'll be out on Monday. And if you watch this sometime later, then go back and have a look. The English Civil War, the Battle of Chariton. But when Julian went off and I was about to head home, I thought, actually, Chariton is such a lovely village. I'm just going to have a quick shufty round myself. And I did, ending up at the church, looking at the wonderful little streams that go through the village. I think they lead into the Itchen. The River Itchen, which goes down into Winchester and Southampton. Beautiful village, wonderful architecture with some amazing thatched cottages. So that video went out actually today as I record this, which is on the Saturday for the Sunday chat. Now, so that was last week. Next week, coming up, got some exciting stuff. So we've got the Battle of Chariton, which I was just talking about, which goes out on Monday. Already filmed. Julia and I went to Oldland Mill. Now, Oldland Mill is a fairly early post mill that is close to Hassocks in East Sussex, between the village of Kemah and Ditchling. Now, those people who came along last weekend on the Bald Explorer Walk, which is our Bald Explorer walking group, do check it out, it's on Facebook. We went from the Jack and Jill windmills above Clayton over to the Ditchling Beacon. Now, when we started, we were at these wonderful iconic windmills, the Jack and Jill, on the top of Clayton Hill. And if we look north down the escarpment towards Hassocks, you can see the white gleaming edifice of Oldland's Mill. It's an earlier mill, much earlier than Jill. And the interesting thing is with the two mills, you can see how the technology changed. So a gentleman called Fred took us round and we had a fantastic look at this wonderful and beautifully restored mill, which is open to the public and you could go there and have a look at it. And that video will be coming up fairly soon. And we were even given a nice bag of Oldland Mill stone ground flour, which the lovely Julia and I will have to do something with at some point, try and make some bread or something. So that would be great. Excuse me. One of the other things we've also filmed was a trip with Kim Murden. Now, you may remember Kim is a herbalist from Lewes. She's also a storyteller. We did a video with her about that. Well, I was interested to know, because I go out walking over the downs and things, what sort of herbs are around at the moment and what kind of health properties can they give, and what sort of herbs are going to be coming up in the spring that we can all look out for. So we took a stroll over the historic downs just to the north of Lewes, where the Battle of Lewes took place in 1264 with Simon de Montfort and in the Second Barons' War. Next to the historic remains of the Lewes race course. I say historic remains, there's still the race course there, but it's no longer the municipal racecourse that it once was, that I guess in the Georgian period and the Victorian period people would come to the races in all their finery. I think it closed around the 1960s, I'm not sure, and now the actual course is used for training. But there was a grandstand and it was an impressive thing, so it's great to have walked up there and had a look. But we were looking for the herbs, and Kim was absolutely very knowledgeable. She knows all her stuff, so we may have to go back and do another walk when more of the herbs come out in the spring and in the summer. Stuff to look forward to. Coming up, also, I have yet to film this, is the 20th anniversary of Storrington Museum. Storrington is a village to the north of the South Downs above Worthing. And it's a lovely little village, a great big pond and what have you. And there's a museum. It's only their 20th anniversary, and they've been keeping local history alive. And you know how important that is, particularly to the Bald Explorer. It's lovely to see the local things to these villages and how we used to live. So I'm going to have an interview with somebody there. I'm looking forward to that, and having a shufty around the museum and seeing what rural life in a small village just at the foot of the South Downs was like. So that's interesting. Hopefully, if the weather stays nice, we've got a bit of a gale coming over this weekend. But once that's passed, hopefully back out and exploring the footpaths of Sussex. And also, it will be soon time to get out on the trips as we get out of winter into the spring and the summer. Certainly the Bald Explorer will be going away. I want to do things like 5 days in a forest, 5 days in an interesting county, and lots of other trips, North Wales, Northumberland, and all sorts of other places as well. They're all lined up and ready to go. So lots of things to look forward to. But I won't waste your time anymore. Do check out the videos. The links will be in the description, etc. But in the meantime, do think about becoming a patron and support what we do. It all helps put petrol into the car, pay for bed and breakfasts and all of that, which of course, you know, does rack up a bit of money. If you've liked the video, do give us a thumbs up. That would be great. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Press the bell notification on YouTube, then you'll get notified for every time we do a video. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you out and about as I do. Till then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.